Guys, I think both Bitcoin and altcoins, but especially altcoins, are up for a major week this week, and I think altcoins will be outperforming the market in crypto. I have two beautiful trading ideas ready on both Ethereum and Chainlink that I'll be sharing with you guys in today's video. So strap up, tune in, and let's see if we can once again get some profitable trading ideas in for this week. In order to get to the execution part of that trade, we always need to first understand the higher time frame context. And when we have a look at Ethereum over here, which is the first chart that we are going to discuss today, we can see that Ethereum is still trading inside of this bigger, higher time frame PO3, in which we have accumulation over here. The manipulation phase is over. Currently, Ethereum is in that distribution phase, guys, and this is where the most amount of money is to be made. Now, when we move to the 4-hourly time frame and we quickly remove the PO3, we can see that Ethereum is trading inside of a local range. We have the range high over here for Ethereum, and then we have our range low over here for Ethereum. We can see that this is simple reaccumulation after that first leg towards the upside. And as long as the trend is up, which it obviously is on the 4-hourly time frame, and it is also up on the daily time frame, we continuously want to be looking for longs rather than shorts. So even though we see a potential sweep of the range high over here, potential deviation above the range high level, we still prefer to look for longs over shorts. Now, in order to determine where we want to look for longs, we need to determine where the liquidity is resting. And what we can see over here is pretty interesting to me, because when I quickly remove the range high, we can see that Ethereum made a break of this high over here. It did not only break above this high over here, it also brought above this high over here. And by breaking above these highs, what did the price of Ethereum do? It made sure that people hopped into longs over here, targeting a potential breakout. The people that hopped into breakout longs over here, where do we think that those people will place their stop? They will place the stop of their long beneath the low over here. Now, how do I know that they place the stop of their long over here rather than over here? I can simply determine that by using the long tool over here, entering the potential breakout long, and then my target is obviously the high over here. This is the target that retail will use. If I use this low to cover my stop loss with this target, I only get an RR of about 1. If I instead use the low over here to cover my stop loss with the same target, I get an RR of 2.32. Now, this is an RR that retail likes to target. So instead of the low over here, people will be using the low over here to cover the stop loss of that long position. Which means that by analyzing price action from the past once again, we can determine that the liquidity is resting over here for Ethereum. That's not all. We can also see that beneath that liquidity, if I go to the 1-hourly time frame, is that the price of Ethereum found major resistance once, twice, and 3 times, right beneath that local liquidity. That means that this liquidity is basically acting as an inducement for this previous supply area over here that should now be turning into this demand. Which also means that over here we have a bit more liquidity resting. So basically the liquidity over here is acting as an inducement for that breaker block and the previous supply that now should be turning into demand. Which means that if Ethereum is going to get a dip into that breaker and take out all of the liquidity that it has been building up over the past few days, I will be interested in entering even more long positions on Ethereum compared to the current 2 long positions that I'm already holding. I think if we take out that liquidity and we wreck the people that enter breakout longs upon this push over here, or enter breakout longs upon this push over here for Ethereum, or maybe even long the pullback over here and place their stop beneath the lows over here, if we wreck those people by getting an aggressive dump into the liquidity pool, into the bullish breaker block, I'll be looking for longs on Ethereum. You can find your invalidation beneath the low over here, because this is where we swept a lot of liquidity. This is where they filled their orders before we got that impulse towards the upside. And then in my opinion, if we sweep the liquidity, start building a long with our invalidation beneath the low over there, and we target a buy side liquidity, we are also looking at a beautiful RR of 3.72. Now on to my favorite chart of this week, which is Chainlink. We can see higher time frame context. Once again, Chainlink reclaimed this very pivotal range low area that I've been speaking about for many weeks in advance. Right now we can see that after deviation of the range low over here. Technically speaking, Chainlink should be targeting a range high over here, right? Beautiful range high with several taps over here, which means that also Chainlink, after the manipulation part over here, is currently in the distribution part, and we can see that it's moving very, very aggressively, which means that I continuously want to look for longs on Chainlink as well. Now, when I move to the lower time frame to start looking at the potential execution, there's something very, very clean and interesting going on for Chainlink, because what we can see is one of my favorite continuation structures. I've made a YouTube video on this. At the end of this video, I will link you guys to that YouTube video where I explain everything from A to Z about how to trade this continuation structure, how to identify this continuation structure, and how to utilize it in your advantage to make profits. The link can be found in the description down below. So after watching this video and this trading idea on Chainlink, definitely make sure to check out that educational video as well. Now, what we can see over here in that case, when we talk about that continuation structure, is that Chainlink was over here slow grinding towards the upside. By getting that slow grind to the upside, what was Chainlink doing? It was engineering liquidity over here. It was engineering liquidity over here. Then Chainlink got an aggressive dump to the downside, purging all of that sell side liquidity. Now, the final step that we need from Chainlink in order to get a high probability long position targeting $20.82 and eventually even $33 for Chainlink, which is my second target, I need Chainlink to give us a high probability break of structure over here. Now, if we can get a candle open and a candle close above this high, I'm interested to play the higher low on Chainlink with my stop loss over here, targeting $20.82. Guys, this is a high probability continuation trade for me. If Chainlink manages to break structure, we can play the higher low, find our invalidation, and find our very first target over here. Obviously, we will enter down a little lower. But first off, before we even determine where we are going to enter, I need my final trigger. The execution part for trades, guys, isn't that hard. Most people can execute a trade, can identify support or resistance, can identify a decent stop loss, a decent target, and all of that. The most difficult part where most people fail in trading is that they cannot be patient enough to first off know what their trigger is, to start executing a trade. But most importantly, most people will know at some point what the trigger should be, but they don't have the patience to wait until the trigger presents itself on the chart. Right now, I need one more trigger on Chainlink, and that simply is a break of structure over here of that high. That simply means that we need a candle open and a candle close above that high in order to be able to play the higher low, then target $20.82 to get a high probability profitable long trading idea.